Now, one of Australia's most respected medical professionals is Dr. Charlie Teo. The famed neurosurgeon is as close as you can get to being a miracle worker. He regularly treats people who other surgeons have declared inoperable. His desire to find cures for brain cancer has seen him raise more than $20 million for research. He's been made a member of the Order of Australia. He is the first Australian other than politicians to address the US Congress. He is a remarkable person, but today Dr. Charlie Teo is being forced to defend himself against criticism from a colleague. Henry Wu is a professor of surgery at the University of Sydney. Professor Wu has criticised GoFundMe campaigns where people are trying to raise money to pay for Dr. Charlie Teo's surgery. Professor Wu says something is seriously wrong if a terminally ill girl with a brain tumour has to raise $120,000 to have surgery. Dr. Charlie Teo joins me now. Charlie, good to see you, mate.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming in. Are you hurt by what's been said today?
Yeah, it's pretty hurtful. I mean, what's most hurtful is the fact that it's false news, and really they should have got their facts straight before they wrote an article like that. No, they claim that the $120,000 goes to me, or at least a significant percentage, like $80,000 goes to me. That's absolutely not the situation. Of that $120,000, $80,000 goes to the private hospital, $40,000 is then shared amongst anaesthetists, assistants, pathologists, radiologists, radiographer and surgeon. So it's not $120,000 to Charlie Teo.
I've known you a long time, and I need to declare an interest here that I serve as a supporter of your charity, an ambassador of sorts. You offer people the option of having their surgery in the public system, but that would involve their surgeon in a public hospital inviting you in, right, to say, OK, bring in Charlie Teo, he might be able to do a few things I can't do, we might be able to learn from him, and then it can be done for free in the public system. I think to date you've had, what, one that's taken you up on that offer?
Yeah. So if you take it back a step, hospitals are state-funded. So it's a big ask to ask a state-funded hospital that has a set budget to look after patients from other states without funding. So if I see a patient from Queensland or Western Australia that there's a public patient, I can't operate on them in a public system in New South Wales. So I say to them, look, unfortunately you have to go private. But there is another option. The other option is if you get your surgeon to invite me to your state, I'm happy to come over, do the operation free of charge.
Why don't they do that? I mean, I know you've had one 3 weeks ago, but this is the first time in 20 years.
So in 20 years, I've made that offer every week of my life. And I've never had anyone invite me to operate until 3 weeks ago, and it worked beautifully. So the surgeon drops his ego. He says, I think Charlie can do something that I can't do. I've tried to take out the tumour, I can't. The kid's dying. Kid has no money. I say you have to go private, or else I can come and do the case at Westmead Children's Hospital if I'm invited.
You actually do that at your own cost, because you jump in the motorbike and you go across the hospital. You pay for the parking.
Yeah, so right? I will pay money to operate free of charge on someone in the public system if I'm invited, and I have to be invited by the local neurosurgeon.
The thing that struck me about this today, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but the general vibe around this allegation was that you're in it for the money.
Yeah.
Now, I've known you a long time. I know the way you run the Charlie Teo Foundation. It's set up on the basis that all of the money raised, every dollar raised. I hosted your Christmas function last year. There wasn't even a cab receipt, a cab docket, an Uber receipt available to anyone who was volunteering on the night like me, because there's an understanding for anyone involved in your events. Every dollar, every cent raised goes to the foundation, which goes towards trying to find a cure.
Yeah, and it's more than that though, Ben. It's all about transparency. I mean, some doctors charge, and that's their prerogative to charge, and they probably deserve it. But at least be open about it. Just say how much you charge, and make sure patients are aware that they are due for a charge.
What do you say to this fellow medical professional who's singled you out today and suggested that there's something wrong with people raising money for their surgery? And how do you feel about people raising that money, going onto a GoFundMe site or similar sites to try and raise that money?
Look, I don't know his intention for bringing the issue up, but I think his intention was negative. It was vilification of Charlie Teo. But the bottom line is it's a good conversation to have. I don't think a poor patient from another state should have to pay for their surgery. If they're dying from cancer, they should get access to me. But the trouble is the system doesn't allow that at the moment. Now, the system would allow it if we declared our hospital as a centre of excellence, because then it's federally funded and a patient can come from interstate and be operated on by me. But to get that centre of excellence status, you need at least 3 neurosurgeons from around the country to say that Charlie Teo is doing something different to us and he's supplying, he's providing care that we can't provide. No neurosurgeon's going to do that. Their egos are too big, or they're too fragile, or whatever, but they just won't accept that I'm doing something different.
Sometimes I get the impression that you don't have a lot of friends in the medical fraternity.
No, I don't. And Henry proved that today. Yeah, look, I don't know what it is. It's kind of weird. I mean, there's this disconnect, isn't there? I mean, I get invited to operate all around the world. I have an appointment at Duke University in North Carolina, at National University Hospital in Singapore, Stuttgart Hospital in Germany. I have these appointments everywhere to operate on the world's most difficult tumours. And yet no one in Australia is prepared to invite me to operate their hospital to learn my technique. I mean, there's something wrong there.
I know you're not going to stop, and I know that this only fires you up to keep on doing what you're doing. And I know that a lot of people who'd be watching right now would be saying, well, I know who I want in my camp if I ever find myself in that very difficult situation of needing brain surgery. So I encourage people to support the Charlie Teo Foundation, and mate, you're a good man for coming in and talking.
Thanks, man.
Good on you. The one and only Dr. Charlie Teo.